Okay, imagine for a second a future where the power inside every iPhone, every iPad, every Mac, it could all work together.
Work together how?
To help create, say, the visual effects for the next big blockbuster movie, or maybe some really cutting-edge AI art.
Oh, okay. So instead of huge data centers.
Exactly. What if the really powerful creative tools weren't locked away centrally, but spread out, across millions of devices all over the world?
That definitely sounds, well, futuristic. But you're saying it's more than just an idea.
It absolutely is. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of Jules Urbach. He's the founder of OTOY and the mind behind the Render Network.
Right.
And we're really going to explore his plans, which are pretty ambitious, to fundamentally change how creative content gets made, processed, maybe even how we experience it.
Yeah. And for this deep dive, we're pulling from some recent talks about his vision, right? Jules Urbach's vision for Render Network and AI creativity.
That's the one.
It really lays out his strategies, the tech he's building, the breakthroughs.
And those crucial partnerships that are kind of making it happen.
Absolutely.
So our mission today is to really unpack this goal Urbach has. He calls it the Airbnb for GPUs.
Yeah. I like that description.
It's sketchy, right? A decentralized GPU platform that seamlessly weaves together generative AI with, traditional 3D rendering.
Okay.
We'll explore how this whole thing aims to empower artists, make high-end creation accessible.
Democratize it, basically.
Yeah, democratize it and really challenge that old model of centralized cloud computing. So get ready for some aha moments about where creativity might be heading.
And if he pulls it off, this could totally shift the economics, right? Giving every artist tools that only big studios used to have.
For sure.
But thinking beyond just the cost, what does that decentralization mean for, artistic freedom?
Right.
Or even what a studio is anymore?
Good question.
And are there hurdles we're not seeing yet, making it truly accessible?
Crucial points. So, okay, let's start with that core vision. This decentralized GPU platform making workflows, way more scalable and efficient. He wants creators to escape the high costs and bottlenecks of those big centralized cloud systems. What's really driving him here, he talks about building something he'd want to use as an artist.
Well, I think what's really key is how he emphasizes integrating generative AI directly into the existing 3D pipelines.
Okay.
He doesn't see AI replacing humans. Not at all. It's more like a new tool, a sophisticated one, like you said, a camera or
a paintbrush.
A paintbrush, exactly. Something to boost what the artist can do.
Yeah.
And by embedding AI within those workflows, his bet is that artists could soon make film quality stuff on tiny budgets, which, that would just revolutionize things.
That really clicks. Okay, so with that vision, what are the technological pillars he's actually building on?
So a major one is this thing called OTOY.ai. It's a new web platform.
There's TOY.ai.
Yeah. He calls it a 4D video editor, meaning it handles not just 3D, but also time and even neural data layers.
Wow, okay.
So it brings together traditional 3D tools, neural rendering, and that generative AI stuff all in one, hopefully user-friendly portal.
So artists can just set up these AI-assisted render jobs easily, streamlining something that used to be super complex.
That's the idea.
Right, and I read he's hyper-focused on building out this whole stack, everything from scene graphs.
Which should define the 3D scene structure, yeah.
Right, through to AI agent orchestration. He really thinks this combo, 3D plus AI, is going to be the new standard, fast.
Seems plausible.
And interestingly, he mentioned Render Network doesn't have much direct competition. Not really, in terms of its features, price, or just the scale. He thinks the biggest challenge is just getting the word out, awareness.
Which means, marketing and community building are critical.
Definitely.
And Urbach is pushing hard to integrate Render right into the tools people already use. He says Render connects with, 25 different 3D tools?
Yeah.
And even more AI models. So if you're using Blender, Cinema 4D, Adobe Tools, Unreal Engine,
their existing workflow,
you could just leverage the network without this massive learning curve. Makes it super easy for potentially millions of creators.
That definitely greases the wheels for adoption. But let's get into the tech muscle a bit more. They're investing heavily in new stuff like neural rendering. Can you unpack that? Especially terms like NeurFs and Gaussian splatting.
Sure. So neural rendering, basically it's using AI to learn how to create images, often 3D scenes, from data.
Okay.
Specifically, they're working on making these neural representations, like neural Fs, that's neural radiance fields.
Right, capturing 3D from 2D images.
Exactly. And Gaussian splatting, which is a newer, really, really fast way to render those 3D scenes, making them directly usable in the render pipeline.
So you can use them like traditional 3D objects?
Eventually, yeah. The goal is to basically ray trace directly into these AI-generated neural objects, these things born from latent AI spaces, and have them look just as good as traditionally rendered stuff.
That's a really fascinating mix of old and new. Now, Urbach also made this bold claim, didn't he, that OTOY's facial rendering is the best in the world.
He did. Says actors and studios already use it for high-end digital doubles.
So what happens if that kind of specialized tech becomes widely available through render?
Well, it could be a massive game changer. Think about it. Hyper-realistic digital characters, previously only for huge budgets, suddenly accessible to indie creators, everyone.
Yeah, it's big.
And beyond faces, Urbach is also tackling the problems with current generative AI, like stable diffusion. He calls it a roulette game.
I know what he means. Generate tons of images hoping one works.
Exactly. Wasting time, wasting GPU power. So Render aims to fix that inefficiency using techniques like video-to-video AI and ControlNet that lets artists guide the AI on specific things like pose or composition and also precise masking.
So wait, an artist could render a basic 3D scene, feed that to the AI as a guide,
Precisely.
and get an output that actually matches what they wanted without playing roulette.
That's the goal. A focused approach, making maybe even 4K film quality achievable through this kind of hybrid method.
Interesting.
And they're also cooking up their own AI models, specifically tuned for render network, designed to run well on regular consumer GPUs.
So not just massive server farms.
Right. Imagine real-time neural rendering of faces, maybe, happening on your everyday computer. That's a huge leap for artists needing instant feedback.
Which ties right into his idea for a hybrid cloud edge thing, right?
Exactly. He paints this picture where maybe your iPhone or iPad starts rendering a scene locally using the renderer Octane X.
Okay, on the device itself?
Yeah, and then it seamlessly hands off the really heavy lifting, the final complex frames to the render network cloud.
And this relies on new Apple stuff, like that background tasks API for iOS.
Yes, which lets mobile devices run these long GPU jobs in the background. Urbach confirmed this is real now.
Wow!
And he expects it to explosively grow the network's GPU capacity. It fits his belief that more high-quality AI and rendering will actually happen locally, even on small machines like Mac Minis.
Because the models get distilled down and the hardware gets better.
Exactly. Efficient models, efficient hardware.
So potentially millions of ordinary devices could actually become little render nodes, contributing to this global supercomputer.
That's the vision. It's a massive shift in how we think about distributed computing.
Truly is.
And it's not just static images or video frames either. Render is pushing into new formats, streaming, especially volumetric video and live stuff.
Right, things like spatial content, 360 video, VR, AR, light fears. They need way more power.
Exponentially more. That Roddenberry Archive project is a great example. You know, the navigable 3D Star Trek scenes for Apple Vision Pro?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Entirely rendered on Render Network.
No kidding. And Render can stream this stuff directly from the network too.
Yeah, they have a system for it. Urbach's working towards this common render graph architecture, where stuff generated offline, like neural objects or scenes, can just flow right into real-time experiences. It blurs the line between production and interactive media.
How does that open up new creative workflows? What does that enable?
It basically means creators can build these incredibly immersive interactive worlds that were just too complex or expensive before.
I see.
And interoperability is key too. They integrate fully with NVIDIA Omniverse using a Hydra plugin.
That's NVIDIA's universal scene description thing.
Right, allows like one-click scene transfers.
Yeah.
And O2I Render is a founding member of the Alliance for OpenUSD, along with NVIDIA and Apple.
Working on that universal standard.
Yeah, making sure render isn't just some isolated island, but acts like connecting tissue for the whole industry.
Speaking of connections, those relationships with Apple and NVIDIA seem really deep. With Apple, it sounds super close.
Oh yeah. O2A's Octane Render was one of the very first pro renderers running natively on macOS and iPadOS. That took intense collaboration.
Apple even used their tools for keynote visuals, right?
Yeah, they did, for WWDC. And Urbach often hints at joint projects, like neural rendering in Octane for Apple Metal, using the neural engine for AI stuff.
Plus, Apple's big push into AR/VR with Vision Pro must be driving demand for render.
Absolutely, especially for that high-res panoramic content. A lot of those amazing immersive videos in the Vision Pro launch app made via render.
Wow.
And that background tasks API we mentioned, Urbach was super excited, confirming it makes the way to make all Apple products into nodes.
An army of iPhones and iPads contributing compute power.
And Apple's Silicon Macs, too. Huge potential network growth.
Okay, and the NVIDIA bond. That goes back even further, right? Over a decade.
Way back. Urbach personally worked with NVIDIA engineers, tuning Octane for every new GPU they released.
I remember seeing NVIDIA's CEO, Jensen Huang, launching an OTOY cloud thing on stage with Urbach years ago. Shows early trust.
Definitely. Urbach speaks at NVIDIA events all the time, GTC, SIGGRAPH. And Richard Karras, who runs Omniverse at NVIDIA, is on Render's advisory board.
Coordinating things.
Yeah. And again, both founding members of the OpenUSD Alliance. What's smart is Urbach doesn't see NVIDIA's own cloud efforts as competition.
Really? How so?
He sees it as complementary. Render's decentralized layer kind of extends NVIDIA's reach, driving demand for their powerful GPUs.
So OTOY and NVIDIA almost share roadmaps. OTOY tells NVIDIA about frontier tech.
Like their mixed neural and ray tracing renderer.
And NVIDIA can then build the hardware needed for it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It positions Render as this key partner driving hardware sales, while Render benefits from NVIDIA's latest tech. It's very symbiotic.
Absolutely. Makes sense. Okay, so the tech is solid, the partnerships are strong. What about the people? Urbach always stresses Render was created for artists.
Mm-hmm.
It seems his goals aren't just tech specs. It's about supporting the creative community, changing workflows. What does that accessibility focus look like in practice?
Well, he wants Render to be just as useful for personal social cases as for corporate use cases.
Okay, broad appeal.
Yeah, so that means building easy portals like OTOY.ai, investing a lot in education tutorials, contests like Render Royale, being active in the community. It's really about making top-tier rendering and AI available to everyone. Hobbyists, Hollywood, everyone in between.
And he's connecting existing communities too, sponsoring the Blender Foundation.
Yeah, the goal there is giving Blenders, 2 million users? Seamless access to render right from Blender.
Huge user base.
Same idea for Cinema 4D and Redshift users, making deals to promote render within those communities.
Smart. And he engages big names too, like Beeple.
Oh yeah, Beeple's a huge render user.
Yeah.
His famous Everyday's visuals rendered on the network.
Wow.
So Beeple acts as kind of an ambassador, but also helps incubate new talent.
Mm.
Urbach even mentioned joint events and gave people equity in the network, recognizes his impact.
That's significant buy-in. And it's not just the stars, right? He supports fan projects. The Render Foundation has grants.
They really seem to be trying to keep that artist-first vibe, even while admitting they need to get better at communicating about all the new AI features they're rolling out.
Always a challenge.
And finally, Urbach is definitely thinking about the bigger picture. Industry stuff, societal impact, renders involved in things around IP rights, authorship, provenance.
Like the verifiable origin of AI media.
Exactly. He knows copyright and AI are massive issues, even politically sensitive, so they're trying to get ahead with solutions.
And OTOY has history here, right? With Lightstage for digital faces and ITMF metadata standards for watermarking, improving origin.
For years, yeah. So how could Render Network help with this? Using blockchain.
Ah, okay.
Well, with blockchain, creators could digitally sign their work, or publish anonymously, but still have verifiable proof of who made what, when.
That helps everyone. Protects creators, encourages sharing.
Right. It fits that ultimate goal of a fair, creator-driven system where attribution and ownership are clear and secure.
Okay, this all sounds really compelling. But how does Render really compare to the big centralized cloud AI services? Google, Amazon, etc.
Yeah, good question. Urbach basically positions Render as both an alternative and a complement.
Okay.
He argues that a purely centralized GPU cloud just hits limits, scalability limits, cost limits. A decentralized network, though, thousands or millions of GPUs. It can just grow organically with demand. No need for those massive server farm investments.
Right.
He claims Render already runs at a much lower cost and infrastructure footprint for similar rendering or AI tasks.
So the bold claim is world-class AI doesn't have to be centralized.
That's exactly his point. He believes decentralized models and compute can bring powerful tools to way more people with less complexity.
Even though many big AI models today do run on huge clusters.
For now, yeah. But he sees a shift coming. Lots of open source models are popping up, and Render is built to host and run those, creating an ecosystem where quality isn't locked behind one company's walls.
He does admit centralized clouds still have a place, right? Render uses partners like CoreWeave and Google Cloud for backup capacity.
Yeah, for their Tier 1 nodes, for guaranteed power. But he sees Render's decentralized approach as the other side of the spectrum.
Filling a different need.
And there's a telling story from back in 2016. OTOY's clients wanted to render 360 video at 4K. AWS, the public cloud, literally didn't have enough GPUs available.
Seriously?
Yeah, that shortage directly sparked the idea for Render Network. With Render, the theory is you don't run out of GPUs. The scale is potentially global.
That's a huge differentiator, especially for those big bursty rendering jobs. And the cost for creators.
Well, centralized services have high hourly rates, infrastructure costs, profit margins.
Sure.
Render's marketplace model, using GPUs that might otherwise be idle. Theoretically, it can offer that compute way cheaper, tapping into the long tail of GPUs, as Urbach puts it, for scale and price advantage.
Makes sense. And finally, he thinks Render is more resilient, democratic.
Yeah, because it's not tied to one company's rules. It's governed by a decentralized foundation, open proposals. Creators can actually have a say in its direction, which is, unheard of with the big cloud platforms.
True.
And security, privacy too. For sensitive stuff, studios or individuals working with private data, running jobs on a distributed network with verifiable on-chain logs, might feel safer than sending it all to big tech.
Interesting angle.
Urbach basically predicts a future where big AI models are open, running locally or on networks like Render, not hidden behind some company's API. He sees Render as the engine for that open AI future.
Okay, so this brings us to the big question then. Looking ahead, what does Urbach see as Render's ultimate role? In the future of media, AI, creative work, what's the long game?
He really believes the creative industries are at a major inflection point. We're moving fast beyond just flat screens.
Right, into volumetric video, VR, AR, maybe even holographic displays.
All demanding way, way more compute power. And Render is being built specifically to handle delivering content for those next-gen systems. Things like Apple's Vision Pro, Lightfield Labs holographic panels.
So he wants to get the whole creative pipeline ready for this shift. Imagine millions of 3D artists just easily outputting their work to a Vision Pro or a hologram.
And end users streaming those experiences seamlessly.
Yeah.
That Roddenberry Archive project, the Star Trek Worlds, it's like a proof of concept for that future. It showed Render bringing old IP to life immersively, like 4D cinema, he called it.
Where static renders mix with dynamic AI elements.
Exactly. He said making that Star Trek short film on Render really stress-tested the tech, and he expects that within 15 months, stuff AI couldn't do in that film will be possible.
So basically, Render aims to let artists and studios create things that still feel like science fiction today.
By weaving together the latest AI and rendering tech into a production-ready system, yeah.
Okay.
Urbach talks about a future where AI models might actually set up entire 3D scenes, like GPT writes text, and then Render takes over to render and refine them at super high quality. But the artist, still totally in control. Style, story, final tweaks. Render is the production layer handling the heavy compute stuff. Simulation, physics, compositing.
It really does sound like Render Network plus AI could be like a virtual studio on demand for everyone.
Yeah.
If that happens, how could that just blow open the creative industry, speed things up globally?
Well, ultimately, Urbach sees Render as a permanent piece of the media puzzle, even as AI keeps evolving. He's adamant that human creativity, human curation, that stays